A stunning Sunday morning here in the south of France as we say bonjour, bienvenue ici à Paul Ricard for race 2, round 5 of the Italian F4 Championship for 2023. Great to have your company as we welcome you to the French Riviera. You can see the picture to the right of your screen, the graphic. We are just a few miles or kilometers north of Marseille, not too far from Nice, not too far from Monaco, and not too far from the Mediterranean coast. This is the most magnificent motorsport complex in Europe, if not the world, have no doubt about that. Unfortunately, not hosting the French Formula One Grand Prix at the moment, but it is the host venue, the second race outside the home nation for the Italian F4 Championship. The breeze is picking up just nicely here, expecting a top temperature in the low 30s today. The sun is shining, the track is dry, and we are ready to race for the second time this weekend with the pole, Kasper Stuka, to start on pole position. This is James Wharton, had a good run to the podium in third place yesterday. Kasper took the race victory. He won the race off the start from grid 2 around the outside of the pole sitter Ugo Ugochukwu. And Kasper Stuka back on top. He took his second victory for 2023. Ugo, car 3, was position 2. Starts third on the grid this morning, does Ugo Ugochukwu, who is also second in the championship. We'll get to that in just a moment. One of two drivers from New York in the United States of America. And this is Tuukka Tappinen, the second Ferrari Junior inside the top 4. Tuukka starting out of grid 4 in car 8 for the Prema Racing team. Tuukka, one of 6 race winners for 2023. The championship is being led by Arvid Lindblad, who has not had the best run in qualifying. We'll start just behind Tuukka on grid 5. 6 times he's taken the checkered flag first. We'll see if he can repeat that in a few moments, but it's the pole who starts on pole. Kasper alongside James, Ugo and Tuukka on the second row of the grid. Then the championship leader, Arvid Lindblad, out of 5, and Brando Badoer, who's snuck up now to 5th in the championship, which has so far seen 44 drivers race in 2023. The first Van Amersfoort racing car, that is Brando, out of grid 6. Zach David, who's second in the rookie championship. James Agozzi, what a drive from the American yesterday for the PHM racing team to come home in 5th place. Nicola Lacorte, Rafael Narak, Nandavid Birambakti, grid 11. Akshay Bora, that's the second New Yorker. He starts out of grid 12 for the US racing team at DNF yesterday. We'll get to that in a moment as well. Gianmarco Bredel, P9 for the Sydney Sider in race 1. Pablo Sarazan, Alfio Spinner, Enzo Deligny, Matthias Verheera, Ricky Liu from China, looking for a good run here in car 66 for the US racing team on the 9th row of the grid. Rashid Al-Bahedi just missed the points yesterday, coming home in P11. Starts alongside Jack Beaton, Aurelia Nobels. She's been in good form this week, but in qualifying 2, she starts back in grid 21. Valentina Klus, Ivan Dominguez with a great drive yesterday. Ariel Elkin, Matteo Quintarelli, Isha, Victoria Blochina, who's leading the women's trophy. Tina Hausman is alongside her, Griffin Peebles and Kim Waring, both for the Jensen Motorsport team as the cars set off on the formation lap. Alvise Rodella in the second BBM racing car, Frederick Lund, Diego Della Torre, Kabir Anurag, Ismail Ahmed and Guido Lucchetti for Airflow Racing. That's the Tuscan on grid 36, and the series debutante, the Venezuelan for the Maffei Racing team, Gabriel Holguin. First car race yesterday. Welcome to the deep end to Gabriel Holguin. Had a great run for the Swiss-Ethiopian Maffei Racing team. Big plans for them in the future. And Gabriel Holguin, there he is in the black Maffei Racing team car. 55, setting off on the formation lap. Did a good job yesterday to come home, avoided the trouble to take the checkered flag. His first car race ever in Europe, coming out of X30 karting over in the Americas. Off on the formation lap. There is Ethan Isher going through for the Jensen Motorsport team, who also picked up a podium together with PHM Racing, with Nikita Bedrin, a former race winner in the Italian F4 Championship at this very circuit. Did Nikita take the victory in 2021? That was the last time we raced here, in fact, when Kirill Small took victory in race 1, and Tim Tramnitz. What a tremendous sight this is as the cars come up the back Mistral straight. Yes, Tim Tramnitz taking victory in races 2 and 3 back in 2021. Both Kirill and Tim racing here this weekend in the Formula Regional European Championship. They just had qualifying a few moments ago. The championship, which was launched in 2019 by WSK Promotion. Frederick Vesti taking the inaugural title some, 4 or 5 years ago now, before Gianluca Petikov took victory a year later in the WSK promoted series. That was the Formula Regional European Championship. This is the Italian F.4 Championship, the 10th anniversary season of the world's most competitive, ferociously competitive junior motor racing series. The second trip outside the home nation, there is the Australian, 1 of 4 in the field, Jack Beaton from Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. Rafael Narak, car 76, the Frenchman. RSGP team starting out of grid 10. Arvid Lindblad is the championship leader on 222.5 points. Ugo, 161 points in second place. James, 138.5 points. Half points awarded earlier on in the season. Kasper Stuka with the victory in race 1 yesterday. He won the race off the start. A brilliant launch to take the lead as he went side by side with Ugo down into turns 2 and 3. Back on the top step of the podium for his second victory of 2023. There's his teammate, Akshay Bora, who had a DNF yesterday with electrical issues. Kasper 4th in the championship, 133 points. Brando, 110 points. And Zachary David, 6th in the championship on 104 points. Great to have your company here this morning. This is race 2, round 5 of 7 for 2023. 37 cars on the grid at this magnificent Paul Ricard Circuit, originally built back in 1970. The US racing team at P1 with a victory yesterday. There is Gerhard to the left of screen. There's the Prema Racing team as well. Fierce rivals, Angelo Rosin trying to avoid the camera in the background. They'll go wheel to wheel. It is Kasper, the pole for the German team. Out of grid 1 to the left, it's James Wharton. The green flag flies at the back of the grid. The 5 red lights for the second time here in France. We race. James stalls. The Australian goes nowhere. Wharton from grid 2 finally gets it going. What a disaster for the Ferrari Junior, who's 3rd in the championship. His race is effectively ruined right there and then. Kasper Stuka from pole position leads the field down into turn 1. Arvid has made a great start, and the championship leader rockets up into 3rd place. A disaster for Wharton. Has got it going, was avoided by the rest of the pack. Stalled out of grid 2, Tuukka Tappinen. Cutting the circuit, Arvid Lindblad up into 3rd place. A sensational start here. No problem for Kasper Stuka, who's looking to go 2 from 2 here this morning. His teammate's in trouble. That's Ricky Liu. Stalled at the side of the circuit. Keeping one eye on James Wharton, see where he has come through. He's way down the field. He's in position 22. A disaster for the boy from Melbourne. Kasper Stuka in P1. Tuukka up into 2nd place. There is the championship leader, Arvid Lindblad. Back in form is the Red Bull Junior. He's in 3rd place with Zachary David behind him. What about Rafael Narak up into 5th place? Ahead of Ugo Ugachuko, Akshay Bora, Biram Bhakti, the tie goes by the American James Agozzi. He's in position 8 as the field come up the Mistral Straight. And before we complete the first lap, yes, you can see the board to the left of your screen. The safety car makes its first appearance this weekend. The right rear of Ricky Liu with damage. He's still in the car, but it looks as though the right rear has got terminal damage, which he may not be aware of. Certainly the right rear is punctured. There's Valentin Plus going through. And Aurelien Nobels is also out. Aurelien Nobels has stepped out of car 16. That's really disappointing for the Iron Dames driver. Had a strong run in qualifying. She was in position 9 right up to the dying stages of qualifying. going P12 right at the end in this 37-car field, but she's out together with Ricky Lou on the opening lap of the race. From the start, James Wharton gets the jump, goes not more than 3 meters, stalls, gets it going again, has rejoined as Matthias Verheerder goes by the field, storm by. James to the left of your screen goes nowhere. Casper Stuka disappears down the road and takes the lead. Arvid Lindblad, superb start from the Londoner as well. Up into third place, there's Biram Bhakti, the PHM racing team. The tie goes by, he's in position 8 off the start. That was a fabulous start, and this is what's brought out the safety car. Ricky Lou making contact with one of the Van Amersfoort racing cars. We'll try and get an update on that. And this is Aurelia Nobels. One of the AKM cars going around as well. But did get going at the end. There's Aurelia to the left of your screen. Casper disappears through. So 4 cars involved in that. 2 have managed to keep going. Casper Stuka is the race leader from Tuukka Tappinen and Arvid Lindblad. Jack Beaton, it was the Van Amersfoort racing car, coming together with Ricky Lou. Aurelia Nobels is out. Ricky's still parked on the circuit. Frederick Lund, that was the AKM car that went around, but no damage after a DNF yesterday for Frederick Lund. He's managed to keep going down in position 33. James Wharton, car 13. Well, he's got one almighty fight on his hand just to get the points at the moment. He's in position 22, the graphic at the left of your screen, behind Ariel Elkin, ahead of Alvise Rodella and the second BVM racing team car. Ricky Lou, Aurelia Nobels are both out. Jack Beaton has pulled into pit lane. That's Frederick Lund going through. A complete 360 for the Costa Rican Danic car, 87, has managed to keep on going. Rejoins behind Ismail Akbed. And once again, Gabriel Holguin has done well to avoid the carnage. What a debut. Talk about jumping in the deep end for the Venezuelan. He's behind Guido Lucchetti. Pablo Sarazan has dropped way down the field in position 29 after running in the top 10 yesterday. That's James going through. There's Tina Hausman just behind. Guido Lucchetti. That's Gabriel Holguin for the Maffei racing team in car 55. So Casper Stuka, the race leader, the safety car, makes its first appearance here this weekend. We had a clean race yesterday. Matteo Quintarelli from the Emirates, the Italian, in position 20 behind Ethan Isha. Still waiting from forward from race control. Tina Hausman going on through, ahead of Kim Hua Reng. Victoria Blochina, car 78 for the PHM racing team, who is also first in the women's trophy, ahead of Tina Hausman. Aurelia Nobel, she'll get no points out of this, and Bianca Bustamante fourth in the women's trophy. So a chance for Victoria Blochina, the PHM racing team being led by Mikhail Aleshin, who, 7 years ago, took pole position at Pocono in the IndyCar World Series, now team manager for the PHM racing team. And what a job they've done with none other than Biram Bhakti, car 57 in 8th. James Agozzi just behind in P9. Alfio Spinner in P10. Another lap behind the safety car. We hope to go green at the end of this one. This is race 2, round 5, the Italian F.4 Championship, the 10th anniversary season of the world's most competitive junior motor racing series, presented by WSK Promotion, together with Acci Sport, the Automobile Club of Italy, the second race outside the home nation. Of course, we raced at Spa-Francorchamps earlier on in the season, here in Paul Ricard, and 5 races in Italy. This is round 5 of 7, the 6th. Next round is after the summer break on the 1st of October at Mugello, and the championship final in the eternal city of Rome, Vallelunga, on October the 15th. Arvid Lindblad did not have a good run yesterday in position 8. As Victoria Blochina goes through, just behind Kim Hua Reng. Was caught and passed by Brando Badoer on the last lap of the race. Only picked up, 4 points from the race yesterday, but he's into 3rd place at the moment. The Red Bull Junior with 6 victories in 2023, 222.5 points. Ugo next in the series on 161 points. Ugo 5th on the road. Zachary David for US Racing in between the two Prema Racing Team drivers. Ugo, the McLaren Junior, and Arvid, the Red Bull Junior. Zachary in between them, and Zachary also second in the Rookie Championship. There's the news, the graphic we've been waiting for. Our race director, Alessandro Ferrari, controlling proceedings once again superbly here. Safety car in at the end of this lap. Pablo Sarrazin going through in car 4 for the Van Amersfoort Racing Team. Has got a mammoth task ahead of him, the second generation racer, as Alvise Rodella goes down into pit lane, and the BVM Racing Team go to work with a new front wing to go onto car 72. He should rejoin without going a lap down. There's his teammate, Il Siciliano Alfio Spina. His father Fabio not making the trip up from Sicilia or Sicily this weekend. Watching on live our broadcast from the very bottom of Italy is Fabio, his son, car 9, position 10, just ahead of the Sydney sider, Gianmarco Pradella. Caspar, the pole, looking to go 2 from 2 after a brilliant victory yesterday. Tuca right behind, also a race winner in the Italian Championship for 2023, and Arvid, the championship leader in P3. The safety car pulls down into pit lane. The green flag flies. They cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. Even though the track is green, there is not a passing opportunity into that, the final corner, until they cross the line, which Kasper Stuka is about to do right now. The green flag flies, and we race green once again here at Paul Ricard. Tappinen in second place gives the toe to Lindblad, who's not far behind, has pulled away ever so slightly from Zachary David, who's got Ugo Chukwu breathing down his neck. There's Nicola Lecorte in the background. The Tuscan fighting with the Venetian. Brando, by the way, the two Italians just outside the top 10. Rashid Al-Bahedi, P12. And Ivan Dominguez trying to carve his way up through the field. Ivan with a super drive yesterday into P6. There is Spinner on the outside. James Agozzi, Bidambakti for PHM Racing just ahead. They work together. Gianmarco Pradella is there as well. A clean restart in the second of 3 races here at Paul Ricard. Kasper Stuka from P1 leads the field up the Mistral Straight for the second green racing lap. Zachary David has to defend from Ugo with one almighty send. David holds off Ugo Chukwu. There's Spinner behind Igozzi trying to find a way by Rashid Al-Bahedi in the Huawei back, car 14 from the Emirates, as we've got 2 going around for Gensa Motorsport. That's Matteo Quintarelli. It looks as though he's just managed to keep the engine running. It's a local yellow only for the moment. Bidambakti, James Agozzi for the PHM Racing Team. James with a superb drive into P5 yesterday. Just behind his teammate from Thailand, there's Gianmarco Pradella fending off the Emirati, Rashid Al-Bahedi, as they fight for the final positions inside the top 10. Ugo with Rafael Narak. Great performance from Rafael in position 6 at the moment. The Frenchman here in France in the Italian Championship, or the French team RA's GP. Gets a good run coming onto the straight, lines him up. There's Bidambakti with his teammate Agozzi behind. Then it's Spinner, Rashid Al-Bahedi. They come down the straight. Kasper Stuka will check the gap. It was 0.5 of a second last time. It stays the same. Lap 4 completed. As we look at the battle in the background, we'll try and pick up where James Wharton is. In fact, there he is, just got by Tina Hausman. Kim Wareng next in line for the Australian, who is 3rd in the championship, is Ethan Isha. This is what happened in the chicane a few moments ago. Matthias Ferreira going through, Quintarelli coming together with it. Looked to be Ethan Isha, or Ariel Elkin, in fact, the Israeli going by. Front right to left rear. Well, make up your own mind. Quintarelli has managed to keep the engine running as we go back to the fight for the front. Kasper Stuka in P1. So there's Lindblad in position 3, has dropped off Ugo Chukwu. Zachary David still in position 5. There's Rafael Nadal. Bidambakti defending as well from spinner Rashid Al-Dahedi. There's Brando Badoer going wheel to wheel with Gianmarco Bradel. Gianmarco holds him off for the moment. Enzo Deligny is not out of this battle either. And another driver for the PHM Racing Team, Valentin Kloos. As Gianmarco Bradel gets aggressive at the exit of the chicane, the Australian holds off, but they're breathing down his neck. There's Matthias Verheda going through. James Agozzi up the inside, nicely done. And the American with a one almighty send has gone through and taken the place. Nicely done by James Agozzi. Bidambakti, his teammate, just behind. There's spinner on the outside of Rashid Al-Dahedi. Runs out of road, does the Sicilian, and Rashid takes him. Brando Badoer, Nicola Lacorte, that's car 47, the Tuscan for the Cetila Prema Racing Team just behind. Brando in car 15. Kasper Stuka, the gap is out to 0.6 of a second, fastest lap of the race, as well as Brando runs very wide coming onto the straight. Bidambakti, the tie in car 57. Rashid Al-Dahedi now inside the points in position 10. Bidambakti works the wheel, goes in deep, holds off. Rafael Nadal. Bidambakti, the tie with a great drive at the moment for the PHM Racing Team. His teammate, James Agozzi, disappears down the road. He's escaping this battle. There's Rashid Al-Dahedi, the Emirati, the youngest driver in the field from Abu Dhabi. In the points at the moment, there's Spinner on the outside. He was on the podium. P2 in race 3, the opening round of the Italian Championship at Imola earlier on in the season. At that very round, it was Nicola Lacorte who took victory in race 2. There's Matthias Verheda trying to find form. Is the Alpine F1 Junior Academy driver. As Gianmarco Bradel gets defensive, he needs to. He's dropped down to P14. Valentin Kloos is there as well, also for PHM Racing. Nicola Lacorte goes so deep as Gianmarco Bradel misses the apex, holds on to it miraculously. And VK in car 10 is there as well. Kasper Stuka, 0.8 of a second now from Tuukka Tappinen. The Ferrari Junior ahead of the Red Bull Junior, the McLaren Junior in P4. But it's the all and back pole for US Racing, who won race 1 yesterday, who's pulling away from the field, looking to go 2 from 2. Rodella down into pit lane once again. Has sustained more damage than the front wing, which the BVM Racing Team replaced just a few moments ago. There's his teammate, Alfio Spinner. Brando Badoer. Good friends, both Brando and Alfio, both coming from opposite ends of Italy, but desperate to fight and get inside the points. The final points position is the Emirati in car 14. Alfio down the inside, takes Rafael Nadal. That's a super move from Spinner. Bravissimo Alfio. Just lined him up, centered, decided it was a clean pass as well. Alfio Spinner now inside the points. Position 10. The gap 0.8 of a second as Ugo puts down a 2:06.215. Rafael Nadal has now been passed by Brando Badoer as well. Brando, P5 in the championship, is the Italian on 110 points. Spinner just ahead of him, Rafael Nadal. Behind is Gianmarco Bradel as Brando goes around. Brando, and he was helped. You saw that. He's managed to be avoided by the rest of the field. Keeps the engine going, grabs a gear, rejoins, but he's dropped way down the order. Brando Badoer, P5 in the championship. Let's hope there's not damage to the left rear. As his teammate Ivan Dominguez just rejoins the circuit from pit lane after that stunning drive yesterday. That is Ivan Dominguez right now, P6 yesterday. But the Portuguese driver who was on the podium earlier on in the season is almost half a lap behind, still circulating as Kasper Stuka continues to lead. James Wharton is out. Get back to that in a moment. Yes, he was certainly helped. Brando Badoer shaking the fist furiously. Just nudged ever so lightly. It matters little. Brando Badoer He is still circulating, but he's down in 24th place. Just getting back to James Wharton from grid 2, has stalled off the start. He was into 21st place. He's now parked in pit lane. Rodella also out. Quintarelli, Jack Beaton, Ricky Lou, Aurelia Nobel. So after a clean race yesterday, as we look at the championship leader, Arvid Lindblad in position 3. We've got 6 retirements from the 37 starters here this morning. Kasper Stuka, the gap 0.8 of a second. There's Lindblad from Ugochukwu. Zach David, Bora, Agozzi. The gap 0.8 of a second, another fastest lap for Ugochukwu. As James Agozzi fighting there with Akshay Bora. That would be for 6th position if he can take him, but Bora holds him off for the moment. The 2 American drivers, Akshay from New York, James from Miami. The green roll hoop, or the green halo on the PHM racing car of James Agozzi in car 48. That's how you distinguish him. And also reminds us that he won the WSK Supermaster Series for the Tony Kart racing team to start 2023. James up the inside, that's ambitious, runs out of road, but it was also mature, intelligent as well. It was almost a crash right there and then, got out of the throttle, on the brake, loses a ton of time, but he's still in the race. That was almost a coming together between Akshay and James. Akshay now in position 6. There's Biram Bhakti. Great drive from Nandavid Biram Bhakti. Driver coach here this weekend, former European Formula A kart racing champion, the Dutchman Carlos van Dam. Back in 2000 and, I'm sorry, Carlos, it was a long time ago, 2 decades ago roughly, with the PDB Gillard racing team. Spent the last couple of years out in Thailand, now coaching Nandavid Biram Bhakti and doing a good job of it, because car 57 for the PHM racing team is in position 8. There is the tie going by Rashid Al-Baheri, who's in the points. Border an electrical issue, sideline car 31 yesterday. He's in P6 at the moment. Kasper Stuka 1.2 seconds down the road as he puts in a purple lap, 2:06 dead. Tuukka Tapinen a 2:06.4, so 4/10 ahead of the Finn last time. The gap is 1.25 seconds. As we move into the final third of the second race here this weekend, there is Idi Siciliano going through. Alfio Spinner in the points at the moment in car 10, just ahead of Gianmarco Pradel. Rashid just ahead of Alfio. Both of them former WSK Supermaster Series kart racing champions. Rashid for the Paralin Motorsport team. Alfio for Tony Kart and the Kart Republic team, winning the Supermaster Series in 2021. And now going wheel to wheel for the final positions inside the top 10 here in the south of France. The Italian F.4 Championship, the second race of 3 here this weekend. James Wharton, just repeating, is out. The Australian, 1 attempt at redemption in race 3, which is at 5:30 this afternoon, when the Ferrari Junior will start from pole position. But for the moment, car 13 is parked in pit lane, and the driver from Melbourne down under is out. His teammates going through. Arvid Lindblad, the championship leader. The Red Bull Junior holds off the McLaren Junior, Ugochukwu. Slightly sideways on the exit from Ugo. Tries the high line. Arvid just puts car 23 in the middle of the circuit and holds off the American. For the moment, Kasper Stuka, 1.2 seconds, looking to go 2 from 2 here. The championship is not over yet. 4th in the series is Kasper, as Ugo gets a good run. He'll get the slipstream as well. As they come down the straight, we're into the final quarter of the second race here this morning at Circuit Paul Ricard on the French Riviera. A beautiful Sunday morning. We hope you're enjoying the coverage. Kasper Stuka looking to go 2 from 2. Spectacular from Ugo. What a send down the inside. Arvid saw him coming, just sensed the American and says, "No, you don't," to his Prema Racing teammate. It was rallycross style, and it's not over yet. Arvid defends. Ugo wants this position badly. Damage to the front of Arvid's car. No, it was just debris flicking off the wing. Carries on through. Ugo is hassling big time. Arvid Lindblad, the championship leader, in position 3, second in the championship. That's Ugo right behind car 3 in 4th place. What a move just a moment ago. Check this out to the right of your screen. Arvid covers him off. Into the marbles, he was sideways flat at 225 k's an hour. Into the chicane in the middle of the Mistral Straight. Arvid goes deep, misses the apex. Ugo around the outside, they go wheel to wheel. Off the road they go, they do not lift. Accelerating. There's Casper disappearing on through. Tuukka Tappinen behind. 1.4 seconds back. Arvid defending for his life. First and second in the championship. Third and fourth on the road. They've both been issued with warning flags for track limits. Arvid holds off the McLaren Junior for the moment. Arvid with 6 victories in the championship so far in 2023. Ugo behind him at the moment, finished second yesterday. Arvid was only 8th. Has found something this morning. This is where Ugo is quick as they race down the hill coming towards the pit complex. Lindblad holds off Ugo Chugul. Zachary David, as Arvid and Ugo fight, Zach will attack. He's catching the both of them. Akshay Bora also for US Racing. So 3 of the German team's cars inside the top 6. This was in the chicane just a few moments ago, wheel to wheel. Running off the road, did not lift either of them. Arvid, Ugo on the outside, and Lindblad holds off Ugo Chugul for the moment. Stuka 1.2 seconds ahead of Tappinen, and then this ferocious battle for 3rd place. Ugo all over the back of Arvid. They race down through turns 4, 5, and 6. Ugo thought about it then, runs out of road, rides the ripple strip. The step, or the final step of the podium, this is the battle for 3rd place, and Zach is catching. Bora behind James Agozzi, Nandavid Birambakti, the PHM Racing cars, both comfortably inside the top 10 in this 37-car field. Rashid Al-Daheri and Alfio Spinner rounds out the 10 just ahead of Gianmarco Pradel and Rafael Nadak. Casper 1.2 seconds ahead of Tuukka, and then the battle for 3rd. Look at Zach in the background. Border's going with his teammate. They're working together. The Prema Racing teammates are not. They're fighting ferociously. Arvid defends. Watch Ugo try and get the run. He'll line him up as Arvid goes in deep, defends, and they accelerate as they climb the hill, deceptively so, here at Paul Ricard up the Mistral Straight. Almost onto the blue lines. Zach in the background is catching the both of them. Superb racing in Paul Ricard. Ugo, the American, with the high line. Can he do it? Tries to take him. What a move by the American. He's done it. Just brilliant from Ugo Chugul. He's now up onto the podium. Take that to his teammate. Arvid back into P4. That was spectacular. Ugo Chugul, the McLaren Junior, with the move of the weekend around the outside, and takes the Prema Racing driver, his teammate, the championship leader, Lindblad back to 4. Ugo into 3rd place and has already put 4 car lengths between himself and his Prema Racing teammate. So it's Casper from Tuukka, now Ugo. Arvid back to P4, there's Birambakti. Super drive from the tie inside the top 10. Watch this at the top of the Mistral Straight, does not lift. Finds grip on the high line on the outside. Arvid Lindblad simply had to concede the place. There was momentum, there was engine RPM, and there was grip, there was speed. Ugo takes him. The McLaren Junior, the former Euro Kart Racing champion, has now put 0.4 of a second between himself and his teammate. Here are the US Racing drivers, the 2nd and 3rd ones inside the top 6. Zach P5, Akshay P6, can they take Lindblad as well? Akshay Bora, car 31. A DNF yesterday. James Agozzi just going through in car 48, the driver from Florida. P5 yesterday. At the moment, James in 7th place. The gap, 1.3 seconds between Casper and Tuukka, the pole from the Finn, and now the American in 3rd place. Good strong recovery from Tuukka Tappinen, and he's had an up and down 2023. A race winner earlier on in the season, but a couple of DNFs have cost him as well. The top of the Mistral straight, the gap is 1.29 seconds. The Ferrari Junior in second place. Just floats it down the hill. Finds grip in the middle of the circuit. Does Kasper Stuka, the US racing team. Second in the championship with the Irishman Alex Dunn to Andrea Kimi Antonelli in 2022. And in 2 minutes, 30 seconds plus 1 lap's time, it looks as though Kasper may well take his third victory of 2023. And with the retirement of James Wharton, earlier on in this race, Kasper would move up to third in the championship. We'll check the gap as they come across the line. Last time it was 1.29 seconds. A 2:05.9, a fastest lap from Kasper. It's out to 1.4. Uga Chukwu still in third place from Lindblad. Zachary David, Border, Agozzi, Birambakti, Rashid El Dahedi, spinner still inside the top 10. Just ahead of Gianmarco Pradel. Rafael Nadag, Nicola Lacorte, Enzo Dellini, Valentin Klus has slipped back to 15. Ahead of Matthias Ferreira, Ethan Isha, and Tina Hausman. She's now leading the women's trophy here. As Victoria Blochina, she's back to 24th. Tina's in 18th in this 37-car field. Car 21, the driver from Zurich, Switzerland. The 16-year-old for the AKM Motorsport team. Fighting with Ethan Isha and the Alpine F1 Academy Junior from Brazil, Matthias Ferreira. This may be the penultimate lap now, depending on when they cross the line. It will be close. It is a 30-minute plus 1 lap race. Just a single safety car intervention earlier on. But since then, it's been relatively green, relatively calm. We've got 6, in fact 7 retirements now. Because Brando Bado out after making contact with Rafael Nadal, or vice versa. Either way, Brando was 5th in the championship. For the moment, he still is. But he's also out, along with James Wharton, Alvise Rodella, Matteo Quintarelli, Jack Beaton, Ricky Liu, and Aurelia Novels. Ricky and Aurelia were out on the opening lap of the race. It will be tight. It looks as though it will probably be 2 laps to go. As they come across the line, probably just in time. This is further back in the pack. Ismail Ahmed, straight through goes the Uzbek. Yeah, once upon a time when there were gravel traps, that was certainly not an option. Ismail Ahmed just going straight on through. I suppose on the positive side, his car is still straight and he's still in the race, albeit down the field. Here is Spinner fighting with Gianmarco Pradel. Alfio goes straight ahead. Gianmarco takes him. So now the Australian inside the points. Spinner back to 11th. Spinner locks up the brakes down into turn 6. We believe this is the penultimate lap. One more after this. That's provisional. Still waiting for word from race control. It was tight when they crossed the line. Gianmarco now inside the top 10 in car 12. Pradel inside the top 10, so we just got word from race control. They just passed the start-finish line, just a couple of seconds before the clock tipped over to 30 minutes. The gap is out to 1.8 seconds now. Kasper Stuka will go from 2. Tuka Tapanen in second place. Ugol still in third. From the championship leader, Arvid Lindblad, James Wharton is out, and this will put Kasper Stuka to third in the championship. So they cross the line just in time. The next time round will be the last lap. The Orland back pole Gets the last lap board now for the German-US racing team in the Italian Championship here in the south of France. Tuca, the Finn, the Ferrari Junior in second place. The gap 1.7 seconds. What a comeback from Casper, taking his third victory potentially in 5.8 kilometres time. There's the final lap, confirmation. Tuca in second place, 1.7 seconds. And then it's Ugo, who's 5.5 seconds back. Casper, superb, rides the ripple strip as he races down into turn 5 for the final time. A brilliant drive, a brilliant comeback for US racing team. The U is for U in Gerhard Unger. S is for Schumacher, as in Ralph. The German team from Cologne in Germany, here in the south of France, in the Italian Championship with the Polish driver, 37 cars in the field. Kasper Stuka from grid 2 yesterday with a stunning start to overcome the pole sitter, Ugo Chuko, who's currently in third place. He took victory in race 1 yesterday. He comes up into the chicane for the final time. What a performance from Casper, half a lap to go. There's Tuca, the Ferrari Junior, the Finn, the 2021 World Kart Racing Champion for the Tony Kart Racing Team P2. For the Premier Racing team here this morning. Tuca Tappinen up the Mistral Straight for the final time. Past the Winfield Racing School. Turns into turn 3. Tuca in second place. A victory in race 1 yesterday. He started from pole position this morning. He's only got a few corners to go as he races down the hill beside the pits here at the most magnificent motorsport complex in Europe, if not the world. 37 cars on the grid. He did it from grid 2 yesterday. He started from pole position this morning for race 2. He's got Prema Racing Team drivers behind him in second, third and fourth place. Zachary David also for the US Racing Team, currently in P5. This time the pole started from pole position. He accelerates and that checkered flag waves. Kasper Stuka, 2 from 2 for the pole in the US Racing Team. A brilliant performance. Kasper does it again. Tappinen across the line in second place. Ugo on the podium with that super move earlier on in the race. The championship leader, Arvid Lindblad home in 4th, Zach 5, Akshay 6. James, another excellent drive, heads home his PHM Racing teammate. Nan David Birambakhti with his best result of the season in 8th. Behind Agoti, Rashid 9. And Gianmarco Bradell again in the points. So 4 US Racing Team drivers inside the top 10. Casper first at Zachary 5. Akshay 6 and Gianmarco 10. Casper goes again, 2 from 2. And with the retirement of James Wharton, Stuka is now 3rd in the championship. Faultless from the pole. Controlled the pace, 1.1 seconds ahead of Tuca Tappinen. It's a good recovery from Tappinen as well. The championship leader, Arvid Lindblad, just drives on by back to pit lane. Better result for Lindblad this morning, was in 3rd for much of the race, finishes 4th, and valuable points in the championship. Stuka takes the victory again. Prema Racing Team 2, 3 and 4, but the US Racing Team, look at that, 4 cars from the German team inside the top 10. Stuka from Tappinen, Ugo Chukul, that's the podium. Lindblad, Zachary David, Akshay Bora, James from Nan David, Rashid P9 and Gianmarco in position 10. Spinner just misses the points. Narak recovers for 12th. Lacorte, Deligny, Valentin Klus, P15. Ethan Isha, Matthias Ferreira. Tina takes out the women's trophy in position 18 from the Singaporean Kabir Anurag Lun, Kim Wareng Elkin, Victoria Blokina, Pablo Sardazan, Ismail Ahmed, Griffin Peebles, Guido Lochetti, Diego De La Torre, and well done once again to the Venezuelan. He's acquitting himself well for the Maffei Racing Team. Talk about diving in the deep end. The Venezuelan brings it home cleanly in 29th place. Ivan Dominguez, the final finisher, and look at the DNFs, critical. Brando, 5th in the championship, but nothing this morning. James, 3rd in the championship. He's now dropped to 4th. Moves up into 3rd in the series to Kasper Stuka with his 3rd victory of 2023. There's Nan David Birambakhti. still too young to drink his sponsor's product, the Singer Bat. The Singer beer backs at car 57, should I say that? Of course, we're in the south of France. This is Kasper Stulka taking the victory a few moments ago. From Tuukka Tappinen, Ugo crosses the line. He was actually 8 seconds behind the leader. And yes, once again, Anna is wearing the now sold-out Circuit Paul Ricard cap. €20 it cost. If you can get one, maybe they're on eBay for, well, probably double that now. The legendary Circuit Paul Ricard hat. You'll get a closer look in a moment, trust me. As Biram Bhakti coming through, the Singer-backed PHM Racing car 57. Great result, his best result of the season, in 8th place in the points. Picks up 4 points for that. Rashid again. And Gianmarco Pradel, the 4th US racing car, the top Australian out of 4, finishes in 10th place. As Ugo, car 3 in position 3, which is where he did start on the grid. Took a second. Kasper goes 2 from 2, as does the US racing team here in the south of France. Congratulated by team owner Gerhard Unger. Yes, there's Enna's famous cap. Seriously, €20. I'm sure she's ready to buy every one of her team members one of those. Tuukka Tappinen, the Ferrari Junior, 2nd place here this morning. That was a good comeback after an up and down year so far. He's already been a race winner. 2nd step of the podium, and Ugo Ukachukwu, critically, he took that place with the move over his teammate, the championship leader, slightly narrowed the gap. From grid 2, James Wharton stalled. He was back underway, but back into position 22. A disastrous start for the Australian, who would ultimately retire. From pole position, Kasper Stulka into position 1, and nobody would get even close to the pole throughout the 2nd race here at Paul Ricard. Carnage on the opening lap. Frederick Lund, Jack Beaton, Ricky Liu, all involved. And the safety car was deployed for only the first time this weekend. At the restart, Kasper Stulka perfectly led the field away and disappeared down the road to win by over a second once again. Matteo Quintarelli having a moment there in the chicane with the Israeli Ariel Elkan. Brando, by the way, 5th in the championship, was helped around down into turn 5. Ultimately, the Italian would retire. Spectacular from Ugo. Desperate to get by his teammate, the championship leader, ultimately did with a brilliant move side by side at the top of the Mistral Straight, and the American would ultimately take the championship leader. Pulled out of the slipstream, did not lift. This was a brilliant pass. Watch this. Just superb. Turns in aggressively. He had track position. Arvid had no choice but to cede the position and take 4th in the race. Valuable championship points. Kasper Stulka goes 2 from 2 and wins race 2 here in the south of France. That move you just saw a few moments ago has elevated this driver, Ugo Ukachukwu, into 3rd place, still 2nd in the championship. Takes a couple of points out of Arvid. 2nd place, great drive from Tuukka Tappinen, and give him credit. The Finn, the Ferrari Junior, home in P2. And Kasper, his 3rd victory of 2023, his 2nd in the past 12 hours here in Paul Ricard. And the German team with 4 drivers inside the top 10. Ugo 3rd place, Tuukka in 2nd. Kasper stands on the top step of the podium once again here at Paul Ricard.
And the team US Racing. And now the gentleman, the Hampton from Poland.
ladies and gentlemen.
We told you yesterday when Casper took the victory in race 1, it was winner, Jurek Dina. Obviously it worked as Rafael Jean-Maria presents the third place trophy to Ugo, second place to Tuka, and P1, again, his third victory of 2023. Casper Tuka wins here in Paul Ricard. James Wharton, a DNF here in race 2, but the Australian will start from pole position for race 3 this afternoon at 5:30. We'll see you then.